Hello, my dear students. A very good morning to everyone. So, today in Moral Science of class ninth, I am taking chapter 8. Very important chapter, very useful in our daily life, and the name of the chapter is Decision Making. Decision making, though it seems very easy, but this is the hardest thing that we can do in our life. So, you might have studied one poem in English, the Road Not Taken. So, what the poet was doing there, poet was confused which way he should choose. He was making decision there, and I hope you remember that poem we have already discussed. So, same is decision making. Some are very strong in this aspect, and some are very poor. Sometimes we regret on our own decision. Oh, we have done it wrong. We shouldn't have opted this. We should have done that. This should have, and this regret, na. This sometimes change or ruin our whole life. So today we will discuss what is this decision making and how we can deal with it. Decision making can be regarded as the mental process resulting in the selection of a course of action among several alternative scenarios. This decision making part deals with our mental situation, mental ability. So in life we are having alternatives of almost everything, whether it is a very small a pin we are having. While we are purchasing a pin, we are having several options in front of us in this technology world. Same with our career also. Suppose you are in ninth, you might have decided your make up your mind that what you are going to choose in 11th, because it's not like after 10th only you will decide. There is something in your mind that you have already started. So this decision is very difficult because we have to choose one best alternate out of many alternatives. Every decision making process products a final choice. The output can be an action or an opinion of choice. So now see, from a psychological perspective, meaning of perspective is observation, calculation. It is necessary to examine individual decision in the context of a set of needs, preferences as individual has and values they seek. So obviously the way we are living, the way we are thinking, the thing that we need, all these things affects our ability of thinking. That ultimately changes our perspective, ultimately changes our decisions. So the way we are thinking, the way we take our decisions in life, all these are correlated with each other. From a cognitive perspective, the decision making process must be regarded as a continuous process integrated in the interaction with the environment. And sometimes some situations are like this. Sometimes it happens near about us, or we are influenced by any other person. Suppose you have decided that I will take medical science in 11th and I will go in the field of medical. But all of a sudden, when you are studying in your 10th or you are in ninth, so you met with a person, an IS officer, an IPS officer, and you are that much inspired by that man or woman that you think that I can do this also. I think this is the better option for me according to my capability, my ability. I can go in this, and you change your mind. So by this way, our decisions sometime depends on the environment also, the family condition we are having. Family conditions, see, if we are financially strong, that we can opt some courses that are highly paid, and if we are from the middle class family, then we have to make our decision, make our mind according to that only. So this decision making is not at all in our hand. Yes, 80% it is up to us, but 20% external things also matters. From a normative perspective, the analysis of individual decision is concerned with the logic of decision making and rationally and the invariant choice it leads to. Yet, at another level, it might be regarded as a problem solving activity which is terminated when a satisfactory solution is reached. So, some people are very good in decision making. So, when you ask, you consult with your father, with your mother, at that time you might feel that this decision, I don't think it's okay. But later on, when it proved to be good with their experience, you feel satisfaction in that. So, this deals with the mental state, our ability, how much far we can see. Therefore, decision making is a reasoning or emotional process which can be rational or irrational and which can be based on explicit assumptions or tactic assumptions. Now, see, explicit outer assumptions and tactic, the way we deal. So, this depends on the both the scenario, our mental state also and our environment also. One must keep in mind that most decisions are made unconsciously. A major part of decision making involves the analysis of a finite set of alternatives described in terms of evaluate criteria. These criteria may be expensive or beneficiary in nature. Then the problem might be to rank these alternatives in terms of how attractive they are to decision makers when all the criteria are considered simultaneously. Obviously, if you are having so many options in front of you, so many alternates you are having, the most you are fascinated towards any particular option, you will opt that only. So this fascination, this attraction also uh, plays a vital role. Problems analysis versus decision making, these two are different terms. One is problem analysis, to know what is the exact problem, and the second is decision making. Let's discuss what this about. It is important to differentiate between problem analysis and decision making. The concepts are completely separate from one another. Traditionally, it is argued that problem analysis must be done first so that the information gathered in that process may be used towards decision making. Obviously, if you solve all your problems, you deal what you are exactly facing, what problem you will be having while opting that. So if you clear all that doubts, all that problem, then only you are able to make a correct decision. Decision planning. Making a decision without planning is fairly common but doesn't often end well. Planning allows for decision to be made comfortably in a smart way. Planning makes decision making a lot simpler than it is. As student, I told that if you are whatever profession, whatever stream you are going to choose in your 11th standard, if you start preparing that from 9th onwards, then you will be having better result. Maybe you will focus on those subjects more which you are going to take as your career. You want to take those subjects in your future reference or future studies, then you have to focus on those subjects more. So this planning is very important to make your decision successful. Decision will get out benefits out of planning. Planning enables the establishment of independent cause. It is conscious and directed series of choices. Planning provides a standard of measurement. It is a measurement of whether you are going towards or further away from your goal. Now see the picture. Right, it depends, wrong. It means this planning gives you a calculative approach whether you are on the right track or you are at the wrong track. Suppose you are not good in chemistry, you are not good in physics, and you are dreaming of taking non-medical science, dreaming of clearing NEET exam and all that, then you are at the wrong path, or I can say that you are far away from your goal. Then you need to work hard. So this planning helps you to do that. Planning converts values to action. You think twice about the plan and decide what will help advance your plan best. Planning allows for limited resources to be committed in orderly way. Always govern the use what is limited to you. Example, money, time, etc. As I discussed earlier also, whatever you are going to do in your future, you have to calculate everything. How much money will be spent there, how much time you need that, how you will do that. So all these are the planning, problem analyzing, and after solving all these problem, you can make a correct decision. If you are not financially strong, you can't opt those courses which need much money. Now, type of decisions. All of us have to make decision every day. So at a minor to major, we are making decision in our day-to-day life. Some decisions are relatively straightforward and simple. Even what we are going to eat in vegetable in the dinner, that also needs to take a decision what we are going to do. So these are very straightforward and simple. Simple decision usually need a simple decision making process, but difficult decisions typically involves issues. Now those are the big problems, big decisions in the life that need to be taken care of. First, uncertainty. Many facts may not be known. If you are going to start a business, and there you never know what kind of problems you are going to face in that. So that is uncertainty. You can't calculate every problem that you are going. Suppose in 2020, who thought that this lockdown will be there and many people will lose their jobs, and many factories will face losses. So this is the uncertainty that comes on the spot. Complexity, you have to consider many in interrelated factors. So while doing any suppose you are studying this year, those who are in 11th and 12th, how much problem they are facing in continue of their studies. So this is the complexity. High risk consequences, the impact of decision may be significant. Alternatives, each has its own sets of uncertainties and consequences. Interpersonal issues, it can be difficult to predict how other people will react. So different people will be having different reactions on your decision, so you have to tackle with all these also. With these difficulties in mind, the best way to make a complex decision is to use an effective process. Clear processes usually lead to consistent high quality results, and they can improve the quality almost everything we do. A systematic approach to decision making will help improve the quality of your decision. A systematic approach to decision making. Now what this is about, see how we can do a systematic approach. Systematic, you understand? In the system, a logical and systematic decision making process helps you to address the critical elements that results in a good decision. By taking an organized approach, you are less likely to miss important factors, and you can build on the approach to make your decision better and better. What are the some of the key factors which can be put in your thought to make a good systematic approach? There are 6 steps to make an effective decision. What are these? First, create a constructive environment. Whatever you want to do, just make an environment of that nearby you. So you are students, so I will take example of your life only. If you want to do good in studies and you want to go at the depth of the chapter, then you have to make an environment. You should have good faculty, you should have good friends, good environment where you are sitting, so nobody can disturb you. And you should make friends who can help you out, who can always give you new ideas from which where you can learn more and more. And if you are having destructive this disturbance creating friends, then you will be out of track. So this is the environment that we need to be made. Generate good alternatives. Don't stick with only one alternative. Suppose if you have decided that you will clear NEET exam, IIT exam, it's good to be focused on that, but you should keep one alternative also. Suppose you are not able to get admission in MBBS, then what will you do? You should have other options of BDS or for some any other option. You should have that, some alternate you should keep. It's not do and die situation. You should have one backup plan in your mind. Explore these alternatives, and you should study about these alternatives also. You should have minute knowledge of these alternatives, what you have kept. Choose the best alternative, check your decision, communicate your decision, and take action. It's better to discuss what you are thinking with the person whom you are trusting, or your role model, or you think that the person can guide you in a better way. It's better to discuss whatever decision you are going to make, whether it is your parents, your teachers, your cousins, whatever, whoever the person is. You should discuss what is going through your mind. Create a constructive environment. To create a constructive environment of successful decision making, make sure you do the following. Define what you want to achieve. Agree on the process. Allow opinions to be heard. Make sure you are asking the right questions. These are the constructive environment. Now, these 6 steps that the writer has explained you. The first one was constructive environment, how to make the constructive environment around you. Define what you want to achieve. First, make your mind clear what you want to achieve, and then agree on the process. Allow opinions to be heard. Make sure you are asking the right question regarding your focus only. Generate good alternatives. This step is very critical for making an effective decision. The more good options you consider, the more comprehension your final decision will be. When you generate alternatives, you force yourself to dig deeper and look at the problem from different angles. I have already discussed all these things. If you use the mindset there must be other solution out there, you are more likely to make the best decision possible. If you do not have reasonable alternatives, then there is really not much of a decision to make. Third is explore the alternatives that I have discussed, that explore the alternatives. You should have the minute study of those alternatives also. When you are satisfied that you have a good selection of realistic alternatives, then you will need to evaluate the feasibility, risk and implications of each choice. So everything is having merits and demerits. First, you have to analyze the risk, how much risk it is going to be. And second is, first, risk in decision making, there's usually some degree of uncertainty which inevitably leads to risk. By evaluating the risk involved with various options, you can determine whether the risk is manageable or not. This is the assumption that we can make. Risk analysis, how we can analyze a risk? It helps you to look at a risk objectively. It uses structured approach for assessing threats and for evaluating the probability of events occurring and what they might cost to manage. Implications, another way to look at your option is by considering the potential consequences of each alternatives. Impact analysis, it is a useful technique for brainstorming in unexpected consequences that may rise from the decision. Sometimes unexpected consequences also come. That time your psychological, your mental state will help you a lot to deal with those things. Validation, determine if resources are adequate, if the solution matches your objectives, and if the decision is likely to work in the long term. This is the validation. Validation means time period, whether it is stable or it is not. Now check your decision. With all efforts and hard work that goes into evaluating alternates and decision the best way forward, it is easy to forget to sense check your decision. This is where you look at the decision you are about to make dispassionately, to make sure that your process has been through, to ensure that common errors haven't crept into the decision making process. Look student, there is nothing definite, so uncertainty prevails almost in every decision, but you should try to calculate every best possible problem that is going to occur in your upcoming decision, whatever you have taken. So just try to have a minute idea of that problem that is going to do. Communication your decision and move to action. Once you have made your decision, it is important to explain it to those affected by it and involved in implementing it. A simple thing I tell you, whatever you are going to do in your career, whatever stream you are going to choose, the best way to analyze what problems you are going to face is just to go and talk with those person who are already in this profession or who are already doing the same thing. So they might give you the slight idea what is the merit and what is the demerit of that. Talk about why you choose the alternative you did. The more information you provide about risk and project's benefits, the more likely people are to support the decision. An organized and systematic decision making process usually leads to better decision. Without a well-defined process, you risk making decisions that are based on insufficient information and analysis. Many variables affect the final impact of your decision. However, if you establish a strong foundation for decision making, generate good alternatives, evaluate these alternatives rigorously, and then check your decision making process, you will improve the quality of your decision. So I hope this chapter is clear to you how we can make decision. It's not simply that you have decided something and you are sitting, okay fine, I have made my mind. No, you have to go in the depth of that, what merits and what demerits you are going to face of that. So this is the ability of your decision making.